Hey everybody, I'm Sarah and welcome to Mile High Church. Thank you so much for spending a portion of your weekend with us, especially if you're new. Our vision, oneness revealed, a world of love, peace, and abundance for all. Our mission, to serve as a spiritual beacon for personal empowerment and global enlightenment. Before we get started today, we want to give you a look at a few things coming up at Mile High Church for you and your family. An Altar in the World with Reverend Jackie teaches us how to experience God beyond the church walls by discovering altars everywhere we go to help us live with purpose and revere the world we live in. And Awaken Your Inner Healer with Reverend Kay creates a safe space to nurture your innate healing abilities to address physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual challenges.
I recently had the opportunity to make a pilgrimage through the luminous, uncut forest of Saint Baume in France. This is a mystical place where Mary Magdalene set off after the crucifixion of Jesus to avoid persecution from the Roman soldiers. Each year, thousands make their way to a cave at the top of the forest, where it is thought that Mary Magdalene spent the last 30 years of her life contemplating and teaching the messages of Jesus. July 22nd is known globally as Mary Magdalene's feast day. Join me, Reverend Zamira, and Mile High Church practitioners for a devotional evening of spiritual practice and experience the essence of the Magdalene and all that she symbolizes.
For more information about anything you've heard today, visit the Event Center or connect with us online at milehighchurch.org.
Hello, Mile High. Happy Spirit of Independence Sunday to each and every one of you. Hi, friends. Speaking of friends, I have a new friend. This is my friend Cody Qualls.
Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning, Cody.
Good morning, Mile High. My name's Cody.
It's so good to see you all this morning. We're going to share with you some American music this morning, and we're going to start with this one, and we're hoping that you'll join in with us a little bit later on, maybe, kind of get that blood flowing a little bit. Would that be okay? Oh, okay, there you are. Oh, goodness, here we go. Ready? Take it away, Cody.
Good morning. They come from the cities, they come from the smaller towns, with beat up cars and guitars and drummers going crash, boom, bam. R-O-C-K in the USA, R-O-C-K in the USA, R-O-C-K in the USA. We're rocking in the USA. Well, they said goodbye to their family, said goodbye to their friends, with pipe dreams in their heads and very little money in their hands. Some are black and some are white, and they ain't afraid to sleep on your floor tonight. With a blind faith in Jesus, you know that they just might be rocking in the USA. Hey! Voices in them nowhere and voices from the larger towns filled our head with dreams and turned the world upside down. There was Frankie Miller, Bobby Fuller, Mitch Ratter, Jackie Wilson, Shangri-La, Young Rascals, Spotlight on Martha Reeves, let's not forget James Brown. We're rocking in the USA. Hey, R-O-C-K in the USA, R-O-C-K in the USA, R-O-C-K in the USA, R-O-C-K in the Where's Coney?
Cody Qualls.
Good morning.
Thank you, Jennifer, Cody, band. They've created an incredible musical buffet for us this morning. Welcome to Mile High Church. I'm so glad you're here. It's so good to see you. Welcome home, Randy. Good to see you. This is our Spirit of Independence service. We do it once a year, and it's very important to all of us here at Mile High Church. I'll explain more about that later. I do want to quote Socrates, because why not this morning? Socrates shared that weak minds discuss people, meager minds discuss events, but great minds discuss ideas. And that's something we can apply to the divine idea for our own lives and to the divine idea for our country. And that's what this service is about. It's about getting back to that idea of the prayer of America for liberty, for justice, for the pursuit of happiness for all people, not just in America, but everywhere in the world. And that's what I hope for each of us, that our hearts connect with this morning, that we leave being beacons of light for everyone. So I'm so glad you're here. If you're new to Mile High Church, hey, Bodie, good morning. Hey. We love to recite our vision and mission each week. It's coming up on the screens. If you want to say along with me, it goes like this. Our vision, oneness revealed. A world of love, peace, and abundance for all. And our mission, to serve as a spiritual beacon for personal empowerment and global enlightenment. So with that, just invite us into our shared time of spiritual practice to connect with a divine idea for our lives, for our country, and for our world.
When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right where I am, I pray.
Right here, right now. We lift up our minds and our hearts to the divine that fills this space, this dome, beyond this dome, into the universe, and beyond that point that we understand. And on this beautiful day, I express great thanksgiving for being an American, for having the opportunity for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, knowing that this gift that has been given to each one of us has been given by God, because God is all there is, in the form of humans who have come before each one of us. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for the opportunity to move and feel and know what it is to live in a country that is free. Thank you, God. Thank you for this day. Thank you for each person who has come together in community to be thankful for being an American. What a gift. What a gift. So I can let this go now, knowing that each person here and each person online feels the divine working through them this day, and then stepping out of this place to be that beneficial presence in the world. I'm proud to be an American, and so it is.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for patriot dreams that sees beyond the years. Thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by
It is from numberless diverse acts of courage and belief that human history is shaped. Each time a man stands up for an ideal, or acts to improve the lot of others, or strikes out against injustice, he sends forth a tiny ripple of hope, and crossing each other from a million different centers of energy and daring, those ripples build a current that can sweep down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance. Robert F. Kennedy.
Frederick Douglass shares, I know of no soil better adapted to the growth of reform than American soil. I know of no country where the conditions for American soil for affecting great changes in the settled order of things, for the development of right ideas of liberty and humanity are more favorable than here in the United States.
We can find meaning and reward by serving some higher purpose than ourselves, a shining purpose. The illumination of 1,000 points of light. We all have something to give, said President George H.W. Bush.
Eleanor Roosevelt once said, the course of history is directed by the choices we make, and our choices grow out of the ideas, the beliefs, the values, the dreams of the people. It is not so much the powerful leaders that determine our destiny, as the much more powerful influence of the combined voice of the people themselves.
All together in life. I thought about my life today. There were thunderclouds and fog all in my head. Yeah, I was stuck up in a muck until something moved inside me and it said, I know this past year has been one of the hardest that you've known, and many of us feel alone, nowhere to call our home. But what looks like a window is closed, it's just an open door, and we're all going through it together. Together, it's the moment that's such a treasure. When the faces around me are changing faster than the Colorado weather. When I was younger soul, with younger goals, I was strong and bold and full of destiny. In a different time, in a different world. Self-worth completely wrapped up in my individuality. But through the tug of war discovered we're tethered, and we're all going through it together. It's the moment that's such a treasure. When the faces around me are changing faster than the Colorado weather. All together in life. All together in light. This is a shout out, a call out to my people. The struggle is real, the challenge is the vehicle. This is a shout out, not just a few, but all people. The struggle is real, the challenge is the vehicle. This is a call out, not just a few, but all people. The struggle's real, the challenge is the vehicle that helped me change the deal. Maybe it brings me to something real. Together, when this moment is all we ever have, the kindred is such a treasure. When these days that pass by us are so temporary, our connection is forever. All together in life. All together, all together in light. all together in life, all together, all our connection that's forever together. When this moment is all we ever have, when the faces around me are changing faster than the Colorado weather, together, all together in life, all together, all together in life. Mile High, thank you so much.
Cody Qualls, everyone. How about Jennifer Burnett? Let's hear it for Randy Chavez, Bijou Barbosa, Mike Marlier, and our band leader, Mr. Rob Lowe. So grateful for our production team as well. This service, as you can tell, is a labor of love, and everyone puts a whole lot into it. It's an exciting month here at Mile High. Our school supply drive is underway. This is to help every child in our greater Denver area get the supplies they need to achieve in school. When you give a monetary donation, we use it for supplies, and then Reverend Jackie holds on to it, and we're connected to so many teachers that when they need help, they give us a call, and we're able to get them the supplies that they need. So thanks for participating in that. Thanks to our Make a Difference team. 2 great classes starting this week. Reverend Kay's Awakening the Inner Healer, and Reverend Jackie's Altars of the World. That's about everyday spirituality, experiencing the sacred in your life. And lastly, it's not till November, but today is the end of the early bird pricing for Dacker Keltner, who's going to be speaking here in November about awe. Anyone here see the new Inside Out movie? Me. Yes. And Bodie, we'll be talking about anxiety today. You saw it, yes. I'm so glad that you saw that movie. It was great. Well, Dacker was a consultant for that film about emotions, and so it's just an extra reason to come and see him in November, everybody. Our denomination here at Mile High Church is called religious science. And an essential part of our faith is that we honor all paths to God. We seek to include the wisdom of all the great spiritual traditions. All that being said, there are some things that I think make us extra special. And one of them, it's one of the reasons I am a religious scientist, is I believe more than any of the faiths, our faith connects with the central prayer that is the basis for our country. The prayer of liberty, justice, and the pursuit of happiness for all people. On the very first page of Ernest Holmes' The Science of Mind, he says, "The divine plan is one of freedom. Bondage is not God ordained. Freedom is the birthright of every living soul." What a beautiful prayer for each of us to hold in our consciousness, that this belief in liberty and justice and the pursuit of happiness for all is not just a political belief. For us, it's an article of faith. Imagine that. Everyone on this planet living in freedom. Imagine that. Every person on this planet receiving justice and equal opportunity. Imagine everyone free to pursue their joy, their happiness, as long as it doesn't infringe on anyone else's. What a beautiful prayer to hold in our hearts. And we know here, through our practice of affirmative prayer, that when we ask God for freedom, it's not usually as simple as, "Here you go, Josh." But God gives us everything we need to realize that prayer. And I believe that God gave America this divine idea, everything that it needs to realize this prayer. In our own lives, it can take a lifetime. In our own country, it's taken 250 years and will take even more, for this prayer never ceases. And we struggle for it, and people die for it. And people are inspired by it. And our country has produced some of the most incredible individuals who ever lived as demonstrations of this prayer to help us to realize it in our everyday lives for ourselves and then for our country and for the world. July 4th marks the birthday of America, but I want to argue today that our country has gone through many births, many rebirths, and it will continue to do the same. One of these rebirths happened early in our nation, September 19th, 1796, the day that George Washington relinquished power. Now, the King of England, when we won our freedom, and all of the other world leaders thought we were incredibly naive, the ex-British citizens, to think that America could be a democracy, that it could be people-led. Surely, before they know it, they'll have a monarch. Near the end of the Revolutionary War, this almost happened because the Congress wasn't paying our troops. You'll be shocked to know that Congress had a low approval rating at the time. And there were letters circulating all around prepared to fight and install George Washington as king. And when he heard this, he gathered all of his leaders around and he chastised them and criticized them for doing just that. Nonetheless, I will get you the money that you are owed. When it was time to elect George Washington president, a title was proposed: His High Mightiness, the President. Just president will do, Washington replied. He served 2 terms, and the country was still in tumult. It was struggling in so many different areas that all the other world leaders thought that for sure Washington would not give up power. And yet he did, and he didn't even speak. He shared and had published a farewell address in every newspaper in the country, sharing things like, it should be the highest ambition of every American to extend his views beyond himself and to bear in mind that his conduct will not only affect himself, his country, and his immediate posterity, but that its influence may be coextensive with the world and stamp political happiness or misery on ages yet unborn. And so we have the birth in our country of the peaceful transfer of power, an affirmation that the people are more powerful than the president, and the formation of this key part of the American character that I feel we need to be getting back to, that I am no better than anyone else. But guess what? Nobody's better than me either. Maybe Roger Teal. that basic aspect that honors our equality and individualism. Another birthday, January 1st, 1863, the day that the Emancipation Proclamation was introduced. President Abraham Lincoln, seen as our symbol of American leadership because of his character, his humility, his firmness, and most essentially, his kindness, his inclusivity. President Lincoln wrote so many letters, but so few got delivered, because what he would do when he was angry is he'd write vicious, mean, criticizing letters of whoever he was criticizing, and then you know what he'd do? He'd throw them in the fire. He had a Secretary of War, Edwin Stanton, part of the famous team of rivals, and Stanton one day is so angry at a general, and Lincoln suggests, you know what, you should write him a letter. Stanton does. It takes him 2 days just letting this guy have it. It's good spiritual practice. Just having at it. And he reads it aloud to Lincoln, and he gets it all out, and Lincoln says, oh, what are you going to do with that letter? So what the hell are you talking about? I'm going to mail it to the guy. And Lincoln invites him to throw it in the trash can. And begrudgingly, he does. The summer before the Emancipation Proclamation, Lincoln and his family famously lived at a place called the Soldiers' Home. Early in the morning, he would ride a horse to the White House, and in the evening, he'd ride a horse back. He needed to connect in the midst of this time when America was most apt to be torn asunder to his spiritual roots, to a deeper place in consciousness. And it is there that he began to articulate and envision, with help of people like Frederick Douglass, the Emancipation Proclamation. He couldn't declare slavery over because of the Constitution, and yet because of the South's behavior, he was able to declare it as an act of war, to release and declare that slavery would be illegal in the United States. Some people thought it came too late. Some people thought it came too soon, that you'd never get the other side back to the table. Yet it was a result of pure prayerfulness and vision. In an ancient Taoist teaching, there's a fella named Shuangzi, and he tells the story about a woodworker named King who constructs and has been commissioned to create a bell stand for the royal court. And he unveils this bell stand, and everyone thinks it's the most beautiful piece of art, its precision, its magnificence, its beauty that they've ever seen. And they ask him how he did it. And he began by saying, well, first I meditated until all distractions, all noise went away. And then I fasted until I could release myself from all of my bad habits. And then I prayed, so I was so clear that there was no part of me seeking praise, even from the royal court. I prayed so long so that all I could see was the perfection and the beauty of the bell stand. Then I went to the forest to see the trees in their own natural state. When the right tree appeared before my eyes, the bell stand also appeared in it, clearly, beyond doubt. All I had to do was to put forth my hand and begin. What does it mean in our own lives to cut out the noise? To stop being so hard on ourselves. To fast until we're released from those habits that are not relieving but creating anxiety for us. To release all attachment to attention so that we can only see that divine idea for our lives, that we can begin to carve it out of any experience. And what does it mean to hold this type of truth for our country? To know and realize and get so intimate with that prayer for freedom, for liberty, for justice, for the pursuit of happiness, that we see it so clearly in children playing, in the beauty of an old architected state house, even in the midst of the noise. What does it mean to turn off the noise, to fast from those bad habits, and to get from that prayerful place that allows us to have our vision for our country be something so clear we could carve it out of anything? Gabriel Garcia Marquez, the great novelist, shared, "Human beings are not born once and for all on the day their mothers give birth to them, but life obliges them over and over again to give birth to themselves." He didn't intend it for our country, but I would apply it to that we've had opportunity after opportunity to give birth to ourselves. August 18th, 1920, the day that the 19th Amendment giving women the right to vote was ratified. After years of protest, and even more than that in front of the White House, Woodrow Wilson finally gave in and realized it might be nice to have some more voters. And yet, 2/3 of the states have to confirm the amendment for it to become law. And it came down to the state of Tennessee, and a letter written by a woman named Feb Byrne, that a young legislator, her son Harry Byrne, had in his pocket. And it was contentious. They called it the War of the Roses in the legislature. If you wore a red rose, that means you were against women's suffrage. If you wore a yellow rose, that meant you were for it. And Harry had a red rose on that day. And people didn't think it was going to pass, and some people changed their vote, and it was tied. And here, Harry, the youngest member of the legislature, the vote was going to come down to him. Suffrage or no. And he grasped the letter that he had, which said things like, hurrah, and vote for suffrage, and don't keep them in doubt. And Harry made the decision to vote for suffrage that day, and we have a very different country because of it. Would momentum have found another way? Most certainly. Would Feb probably be the better person serving the legislature at the time than her son? Most definitely. Yet that's how the birth and the rebirth of our country happens so often. So many people die. So many people dedicate their lives. And the opportunity comes to step into it if we can hold that higher vision. One more date. August 6, 1965, the day the Voting Rights Act passed, where it was made illegal in our country to discriminate against people who wanted to vote. John F. Kennedy had been killed horrendously. Lyndon Johnson, who was not elected, became the president. He was a master legislator, and he made the commitment to choose this as his crowning achievement. And here he was, this white guy from Texas, even with a drawl, addressing Congress and saying, I speak tonight for the dignity of man and the destiny of democracy. At times, history and fate meet at a single time and a single place to shape a turning point in man's unending search for freedom. There is no Negro problem. There is no Southern problem. There is only an American problem. And we are met here tonight as Americans, not as Democrats and Republicans. We are met here as Americans to solve that problem. There's no issue of states' rights or national rights. There is only the issue of human rights. But even as we pass this bill, the battle will not be over. What happened in Selma is part of a far larger movement which reaches into every section and state of America. It is all of us who must overcome the crippling legacy of bigotry and injustice. And Johnson famously took those words from the civil rights movement, this white guy from Texas. And we, he said, shall overcome. What a wonderful truth to know for that prayer of our nation, that we shall overcome. What's next? What's our next rebirth? What's our next reinvention to better embody the prayer, the divine idea for America? I'm interested in AI, artificial intelligence, but you know what I'm interested in even more? FI, female intelligence. When we get to that point in our state legislatures and in our governor offices and in our Congress and in our executive branch where we have as many, if not more, women serving, how will that change our country? Peace. Clarity from the crowd. I'm interested in the expansion of knowledge for our children, having broadband internet available for all of them so that they can better learn and have equal opportunity to education. I'm so excited to see what that can do for our nation. I'm so excited for us to get our house in order so that we can better embody a prayer that holds patriotism as holding our country accountable to achieving the prayer of liberty and justice and the pursuit of happiness for all, so that we can be an example for one another, but for the world, where there are so many people who need that prayer. And I look forward to spiritual communities like ours that says that you can achieve the American dream no matter what your religion is, no matter who you choose to marry, no matter your political affiliation, that it's for all, that the blessing of the divine, its highest qualities are for all people, no matter what. It's an election year, which means it's my favorite time to give this talk. Anyone here experiencing a little anxiety? A little anxiety about the election? Boy, that debate sure helped. Because people get pessimistic. They get angry. They get despondent. Some people are already unhappy because they're not pleased with the candidates who are running, so they already feel a sense of loss. Then there are those of us who are prepared. What am I going to do if the other guy wins? What am I going to do? Honey, I hear they have some great health care in Europe. Those Canadians are so friendly. Some real estate prices are not so high up in Mexico. The anxiety is real. I have it too. But you can possess your anxiety and not let it possess you. And for me, when I think of all those people who've died for that prayer of America, all those people who dedicated their life to it, staying true to that prayer and that vision, no matter what, is so incredibly important to me. You can choose to just be despondent, kind of like the Jedis after the Empire take over. You can just kind of wander and be wise and recluse, but just totally detach yourself from anything that's going on in the country. Or you can do what our teaching teaches us to do when we're at our most anxious, which is to remember the truth, to know the truth of who you are, to remember the truth of the divine idea for your country, and seek to be a conduit and a champion for it. Abraham Lincoln, the height of the Civil War, is said to have shared the following story, that he was once boarding with a Presbyterian minister on a train. And one night the minister woke him up. "Arise, Abraham, the day of judgment has come." And he's pointing out the window, and Lincoln looks out the window, and there's a meteor shower. So there's literally stars falling from the sky and bolts of fire going on. And Lincoln shared with the people he was sharing with, "I saw those falling stars, and I saw all of those fireworks. And yet past them, I could still see those grand old constellations holding the universe in place. My friends, the universe did not end that day, and the union will not end now." How can we, no matter how concerned or anxious we may be, hold that kind of truth for one another in our country? To see those grand old constellations and get past the fireworks that need our attention, but we can always see more and beyond. How can we do that? One, a little less news. Too many of us, we watch news for entertainment instead of for information, so we can't help but see elections as slobber knockers, the battle of the century, and we can't help but sometimes demonize the polarities on the other side. Get your news, get all the information you need to make the highest and best decisions as you vote, but nothing more than that. Get out of those. Second, what the Buddha called the middle way. Get off of the fringes and get back to center. And by that I don't mean be a centrist, be a proud conservative, be a proud liberal, but recognize that the fringe is defined by needing to demonize the fringe on the other side. That fringes tear apart. They never bring together. In the middle way, we seek not judgment, but understanding. We practice not blame, but curiosity. We seek to solve problems, not just to point them out. And lastly, have that grand faith in your country. Not a naive faith, but a bold faith that can behold those constellations no matter what. What are those constellations for me? Those stars in the sky, I've already mentioned them. It's all of those incredible service people, those incredible individuals and activists, those incredible leaders who either died or dedicated their life to the well-being of our country and answering our nation's prayer. I look up and I see the constellation of Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass. I see the star system of Paul Robeson and Martin Luther King Jr. I see the shining star of Eleanor Roosevelt and Susan B. Anthony. I see the star of Lyndon Johnson, of Ronald Reagan, of George H.W. Bush, of John McCain. So many stars that you may not agree with their politics, but you can respect the dedication of their life's work and their service. Follow those stars Follow those teachers that shined brightest for you, and do not forsake the lessons that they teach. That America is a divine idea, but it can only come about through our individual lives and the example we set in encouraging others to embody that great liberty, that great justice wherever we see injustice, and that pursuit and that right each of us have to fulfill that joy in our heart that seeks our God-given freedom and that deep knowing of the sacred that resides in all of us. The motto of the great state of South Carolina says, "While I breathe, I hope. While I breathe, I hope." Let's take a deep breath. While I breathe, I hope. There's no greater spiritual gift that any of us has been given than the gift to hope, to imagine, to find, like King did in that bell stand, that vision for greater harmony within ourselves. And our work is to dedicate ourselves to making it a reality. As we move into prayer this morning, invite any of our prayer practitioners who'd like to stand and join me. These wonderful folks are available for prayer after service. And I share these words from a famous prayer by our founder, Ernest Holmes, called "My Prayer for My Country," where he shares, "I know that divine intelligence governs the destiny of the United States of America, directing the thought and the activity of all who guide its affairs. I know that success, prosperity, and happiness are the gifts of freedom and the divine heritage of everyone in this country. I know that divine guidance enlightens the collective mind of the people of this country. I know that no one can believe or be led to believe that personal freedom must be surrendered in order to ensure economic security for all. I know that this spiritual democracy shall endure, guaranteeing to everyone in this country personal liberty, happiness, and self-expression." So moving into a moment of prayerfulness with the clarity of the bell stand, may we open ourselves up to a greater vision for our own lives and the grandest vision we can have for our country. We do not turn away from the suffering in our country or the suffering in the world. We do not turn away from the problems that we see manifesting and our desire to solve and move beyond them. And yet, we hold true to all of those who have demonstrated the possibility of the prayer of America, who died perhaps never experiencing it in full, but also knowing deep in their hearts the future generations, including the one we are today, to see it through for ourselves and for our future loved ones tomorrow. May we also embrace, recall, unearth, nurture, and give thanks for the divine idea for our individual lives. How can I best express my freedom? How can I best embody justice? As the great Viktor Frankl remarked, for the Statue of Liberty on the East Coast, we need a statue of responsibility on the West Coast. How can I best embody freedom and the responsibility that comes with it today? And how can I best pursue living my best life in awareness of all the gifts of God so that I may use them today? We let it be, we let it become, and so it is. Amen.
I pray you'll be our eyes and watch us where we go, and help us to be wise in times when we don't know. Let this be our prayer when we lose our way. Lead us to a place. Guide us with your grace to a place where we'll be safe.
La luce che tu dai,
I pray we'll find your light.
nel cuore resterà,
Hold it in our heart.
a ricordarci che
When the stars go out each night,
l'eterna stelle sei. Nella mia preghiera,
let this be our prayer.
quanta fede c'è.
When shadows fill our day,
Lead us to a place.
guide us with your grace.
Give us faith so we'll be safe. Sogniamo un mondo senza più violenza, un mondo di giustizia e di speranza. Ognuno dia la mano al suo vicino, simbolo di pace e di fraternità. La forza che ci dà
We ask that life be kind
desiderio che
and watch us from above.
ognuno trovi amore
We hope each soul will find
intorno e dentro e sé.
another soul to love.
Let this be our prayer,
Let this be our prayer.
just like every child.
Just like every child.
Need to find a place. Guide us with your grace. Give us faith so we'll be safe. E la fede che hai acceso in noi. Sento che ci
Spectacular. Thank you for being here. We welcome everyone who's watching online as well. Thank you for making Mile High Church, your spiritual community. It's July, which for Mile High Church is the kickoff of our fiscal year. So I want to begin by just thanking you for choosing to invest whatever you choose to invest financially into Mile High Church. I don't know about for you, but for me, Mile High Church is just an essential part of my life. It's a place where I can remember the wholeness of the world, the wholeness of my country, and the wholeness for myself. It's that place where I can find myself again and again, and I'm a better person, a better father, hopefully a better husband because of it. And investing in this community is a vital action for me, and I thank you for whatever you choose to invest and to help us be the abundant church that we are. We're doing a little bit something different for the offering, so take note of all those ways to give now, the texting and the mailing in, and just know that it's all so appreciated, but we can take our gifts right here and right now and say an offering affirmation together that goes like this. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today.
Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as
Jennifer Burnett and Cody Qualls and the Mile High Band. Oh, what a Sunday, and are we so blessed. Thank you. And I want to welcome you to Mile High Church. If you are here for the first time, just know that we welcome you right into the heart of our community. And I'd love to meet you out in the Welcome Center where we have a gift, and so we can shake hands and meet face to face. Also, if you want to anchor that divine idea that Josh so beautifully shared with us this morning and that vision for your own life and for our country, I'd invite you to consider meeting with the prayer practitioners as they make their way down. And you can also do a prayer request out in the lobby or turn it in online.
Thank you, Zamira. Tell us what's going on Wednesday.
Wednesday night, we have a kirtan here. It's an interfaith. It's based on a devotional chanting that originated in India, but it is interfaith in nature. And so if you want to come and experience, either you want to chant along, you want to sing at the top of your lungs, you want to dance, or you just want to meditate and feel the music, I invite you to join us. It'll be in the Vote this Wednesday. Doors open at 6:30. So I hope to see you there.
Thank you, Zamira. Kay and Jackie are both starting classes this week. Do you mind briefly telling us the heart of them for those of us looking for summer school for the soul?
Definitely. So this is the healing workshop that we're offering this year. And if healing is calling to you, I hope you will join us. This is going to be Thursday morning, starting at 10 o'clock, 4 weeks. Let's jump in and do it.
Thank you, Kay. Jackie?
And I'm also on Thursdays, but I'm in the evening. And it is also 4 weeks, and an altar in the world is just going to show you how you can have the sacred in your everyday life, recognize it, and we'll do some really fun experiential things with that.
Speaking of sacred, the Nacho Men are here. They're going to be out there playing some incredible music. There's some food trucks, so we're here having our celebratory 4th of July picnic Sunday, so please hang out with us, get to know some people, and have a great time. With that, if you'd like, stand, and we're going to say a benediction, and then we're going to sing a slightly different song. Repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind, body, and all that I do. I give thanks for it. I accept it. Just the way that it is, and just the way that it is not. Thank you, life.